North of Evanston, Wyoming, the landscape changes dramatically. The high desert gives way to the flood-irrigated lowlands of the Woodruff Valley. This valley extends 45 miles from Woodruff, Utah to Cokeville, Wyoming, which I'll explore for this vlog. This is cattle country and important habitat for deer, elk, moose, pronghorn, sage-grouse, Bonneville cutthroat trout, and over 260 species of resident and migratory birds. It is a diverse landscape with a strong agricultural identity and wide open spaces in every direction. Land ownership is mixed between private and public lands managed by BLM, the U.S. Forest Service, and the respective states. At the Bear River near Bear River City, Wyoming, and it is very, very low flows. Water flow is measured by volume in cubic feet per second at U.S. Geological Survey stations along the river. By late July, the Bear River was flowing at 3 cubic feet per second between the town of Bear River, Wyoming and Woodruff Narrows Reservoir. By the time the river made it to Cokeville, there was no measurable flow in the river. However, there was standing water in the river channel, so I decided to float. Today is Friday, July 29th, 2022. I'm at Cokeville Meadows and I am getting ready to run my shuttle. Got my bike ready and my boat is waiting for me about 10 miles upstream. So I'm going to ride my bike, leave it there, jump on the boat and float to here. And there's a few mosquitoes in the area. Putting in below Pixley diversion on the Bear River. Just kicked up 100,000 mosquitoes. I talked to Katie Tooley, Cokeville Meadows Refuge manager, who put me in touch with landowner Evan Pope, who allowed me to access the river from his property. I was treated to a beautiful day on the river, observing wildlife at close range. I tallied 47 species of wetland-dependent birds and noted the most common were mallards, gadwall, killdeer, American coot, Canada geese, and white-faced ibis. There's a nighthawk. Almost done for the day. I've only gone about 7 miles. Slow going. Low flows, no current. It's tough. But on the bright side, all this shallow water makes good wildlife habitat. There's some blackneck stilts. The bank right up here. Lots of willets. Only a mile and a half to go, walking to my truck. Been a long day. Gotta rethink this plan with low flows and no current. A mile an hour just isn't gonna cut it. But I'm in a beautiful area. Cokeville Meadows National Wildlife Refuge. Bear River's over there. Since I wasn't making much progress floating the river, I decided to explore the sagebrush steppe landscape. I drove up the Smiths Fork of the Bear River and got on the ridgeline that separates the Bear River watershed from the Colorado River watershed. This is a remarkable landscape where the Salt River mountain range collides with the Wyoming range. It is part of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem and considered to be an important ecological link to the Wasatch and Southern Rocky Mountains. I headed back to Cokeville to meet with Evan Pope and learn more about the ranching history and the importance of the Bear River to this valley.
I was born on the BQ Ranch, right along the Bear River. Grew up with all the cowboys and the hired men and all the horses. I really thought that that ranch was the only thing in the world. The heritage and the understanding of the ranching business in those days is really valuable to me. The Bear River, even back then, worked like a a big old sponge. The river bottom here is just about like that. We flood it early in the spring, and it just soaks the water up like a sponge. And it's very good because there's almost the same amount of water comes out the bottom of this big sponge as there is goes in the top. Water has been so important to us. I remember I was just married back in the early 1960s when they started talking about building a reservoir up in Woodruff. That reservoir become a reality. Now the reservoir brings stability. We had a place to come back to the stable, old grassroots of those meadows. We also could use the water when it was really needed, if you got the water at the right time especially, and that improves the quality of the hay. Calves that used to weigh 350 pound, now there's lots of 650 pound calves come out of this valley with the improvements of taking care of your water. And we can't raise sugar beets, we can't raise a lot of things, but it still raises ranchers, it raises kids, and it teaches common sense. Our lives and our country here is worth everything to us, and understand it and love it. The Bear River Valley has been blessed by God, and it's still going to last quite a while. I think conservation is one thing that our government has done right.